Change real now, and some remarks from the president at a campaign event last Friday are getting new attention, as some suggest his most recent attack on the GOP sounds like he is campaigning against capitalism. Take a listen.
Their philosophy is simple. You're on your own. That's their view, that the only way the economy can grow is if you're out of a job, tough luck. Figure it out on your own. If you don't have health care, too bad. You're on your own. If you're a senior having trouble paying your prescription drugs, that's not our problem. If you're a young person coming out of poverty, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, even if you don't have boots. We won't win the race for new jobs and new businesses and middle-class security if we cling to this same old worn-out, tired, you're-on-your-own economics that the other side is peddling. I mean, they act like we haven't tried it. We tried it. You know, the idea that you would keep on doing the same thing over and over again, even though it's been proven not to work, that's the sign of madness.
Joining me now, Christopher Hahn, a former aide to New York Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer. He's also a Fox News contributor. And Chris Plante, who is host of The Chris Plante Show. Hi, guys. Okay, so the president's taken some incoming on this from, among others, Rush Limbaugh, who says what he's essentially saying here is that we tried capitalism and it failed. What do you think of it, Chris Plante?
Well, this president has been waging war against free market capitalism since we first learned his name. You know, this is pretty clearly another example of the president who's demonized Wall Street, has demonized bankers, has demonized speculators, has demonized the free market at every possible opportunity as part of his demonization of everything. He's not a free market guy. He once said during a speech to a bunch of business people that he's a free market person, and it got a laugh. They thought it was a joke. Now, we were listening to the president just a few minutes ago. We were just listening to the president a few minutes ago, and he started ticking off jobs that he wants to see. And if you go back and listen to every one of them is a government job. He's talking about teachers and firefighters, unions that give money to Democrats, and they're all government jobs. All of his solutions are government solutions.
Chris,
you hear him talking about energy, and he's talking about solar.
Okay, go ahead.
Chris,
go ahead, Chris.
We do need teachers and firefighters so that we can train the next generation of leaders in this country, and we can make sure that their houses don't burn down in the process. So let's not demonize firefighters who save lives
Republicans
every day
are against that
in New York, while we're praising a guy like Rush Limbaugh, who, let's face it, if it wasn't for government, would have no job because the government protects the free airways that he broadcasts on, and he forgets that. Now, I know that conservatives can't run on the economy anymore because it's getting better. So what they've got to try to do is make the president sound weird. You know, he doesn't believe in capitalism. Well, let me tell you something. Most companies in this country couldn't survive without government intervention. Take the oil industry, for example. If it wasn't for our Navy protecting their shipping lanes, they'd be bankrupt right now.
But Chris,
so let's be
Chris, let me
clear.
ask you,
Government's involved
Chris
in
Hahn, let me ask you, though, because he said in his remarks, he said, we tried it. He's talking about the you're on your own economics. We tried it. It was tried in the decades before the Great Depression. It didn't work then. It was tried in the last decade. It didn't work. You know, we looked up the unemployment. The average unemployment under George W. Bush from 2001 to 2008, it was 5.3%. The average participation in food stamps was 23.5 million. It's double that.
You're ignoring the last 3 months of his presidency when the whole world came to an end.
He's talking about the last decade.
Well,
he's talking about the last decade. He wasn't talking about the last 3 months under President Bush.
It was the policies of the last decade that led to the collapse of our economy in this country. And if it wasn't for this president and the policies he put in place, we would still be falling today.
More than housing, you think? You don't give President Bush any credit for job creation?
I absolutely give him no credit for job creation because he created no jobs. He had a net loss of jobs if you take the policies of his administration. Remember, Obama's first budget wasn't even passed until 6 months into his presidency. His policies
and that was his last budget, too, by the way. It's the only budget he's passed as president.
What of that, Chris Plante? What is that? I mean, is there a legitimate criticism to be had that the policies of George Bush put us in a worse position than we would otherwise have been, and then that was a you're on your own type attitude?
It was.
No, of course not. It's called free market capitalism, and I could bring in the Community Reinvestment Act and the housing bubble and, Democrat do-gooder projects that laid the groundwork for that implosion. but I won't, because we don't sit around and whine about inheritances.
Democratic do-gooder projects.
We don't have to, listen, Chris, we don't have to work to make Barack Obama sound increasingly weird. In fact, that speech there was kind of a demonstration of his detachment from reality and the fact that he continues to blame and look for government solutions to all of our economic problems. You know that there are millions fewer people who have jobs today than when Barack Obama took office.
Right.
That the phoning
and
up
there
of
are
the
millions of people
But
who
wait,
have
let me jump in.
jobs.
Let me
since
jump
this
in, Chris,
recovery started.
because the way the right is going to look at this comment and this line of argument, because it seems to be something the president's going to, he's done it before, now he's doing it more,
right.
Is that he is an anti-capitalist, which plays into some right-wingers' view that he is a socialist,
right.
and at a minimum that he is divisive, that he is all about dividing the rich from the poor and class warfare. And here, just speaking of Rush Limbaugh, here is how he put it on this point. Listen.
He believes that capitalism is you're on your own. He believes that capitalism is people destroying each other, stealing from each other. That's what he thinks of competition. Competition is immoral. It's unhealthy because all it does is lead to cheaters. And who are the cheaters? The people that win.
Go ahead, Chris.
You know, leave it to Rush Limbaugh to, find the darkest moment of this and create something out of nothing. He's absolutely wrong, as he is on almost every issue. This president believes in competition and the free market. Look at how the markets have performed during his presidency. Rush Limbaugh just needs something to attack, or he's irrelevant. This is his way
Maybe
of
he's going to attack you next.
I hope he does. Make
Chris
me
Plant,
bigger,
I'll give you the
Rush.
last word. Quickly, please.
Look, the president has government solutions to everything. He has free market solutions to nothing. He thinks that the government can pick Solyndra and it will win. They do nothing but pick losers. They're statists, beginning, middle, and end.
Statists.
All right, guys. Thanks
That's
for
a new
being
word.
here. Statists is hard to say. See you, gentlemen.
Thank you.